so we don't snore, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome.
That was super exciting to me to realize that was a muscle weakness that had caused that to happen.
And what I'm seeing exploding is mouth tape because people are using that as a crutch. Family members on CPAP with obstructive sleep apnea. No one talked to them about doing some muscle exercise.
I have a very special guest today, and as I am on my anti-aging journey, I have been finding some really cool tools that actually work. And we're going to be talking about that today. The thing that made me the most excited about this tool is it goes beyond anti-aging. I'm going to let our guest fill in the information about that. But first, I want to introduce her as we are meeting with Dr. Kennedy. She has invented the beauty balloon, and she'll be talking to us about that today. Dr. Kennedy is a double board certified pathologist in both anatomic and clinical pathology. So without further ado, I want to welcome Dr. Catherine, and I want to thank you so much for being here. And I want you to tell us a little bit about how you got started on this journey, because we have already met. And when you talked to me about this, I got excited about this tool on a whole nother level.
Thank you, Kimberly. I'm so excited to be here. This is so fun to do. And I love talking about this topic because it has impacted my personal health, my family members, so many of my family members, this head and neck issue in the oropharynx has impacted us. The way I kind of got into it is my own health. I suffer from allergies, and I have been a lifelong allergy sufferer from childhood, my entire life. I've self-medicated, I've done the allergy shots, I've done it all. Claritin, buckets and buckets of Claritin and Flonase. So as I started to reach menopause, I was starting to snore. I was frustrated about it, and I was not getting restful sleep. And I noticed some changes were happening also in my oral cavity. My health was going down the tubes, frankly. High cholesterol, high triglycerides, pre-diabetic. Here I am, a pathologist in the hospital, looking at the devastation of these chronic diseases underneath the microscope for decades. So I knew if I don't make some changes, I'm heading down a very, very bad health pathway. So I started to do some of the exercises, and they're strengthening exercises in the head and neck region. And so I was getting frustrated though, because I knew I needed to progress better, get stronger, faster, and I wasn't getting there. So I started to tinker around with tools. I said, I can come up with something, some type of tool that will help me engage these muscles better, faster, more efficient. So many of my colleagues, Kimberly, use medical grade balloons for so many procedures. Every orifice in the body, we have a medical grade balloon to do something for patient care. So whether it's opening up blocked arteries, dilating the esophagus, our catheters that we use, our bladder catheters, our balloons. So there's a medical grade balloon for so many things. So I thought, I can take that. It's safe. Well, I'll be able to figure it out. Hence the name balloon. After trying and working with a wonderful balloon manufacturer, it wasn't working. They were deflating. They weren't working how I needed them to engage in the oral cavity. So I quickly switched gears and found a different method to bring a tool that was highly effective. And the shape it kind of came to me when I was looking at a piece of architecture, actually a ceiling, a large arch, and it was supported by triangles. And that's when it dawned on me, this shape will be so complementary and be so effective in the oral cavity because we have two perpendicular arches, right? We have the palatal arch and we have the dental arch. And then the triangle is another stable geometric shape. So they work so well together, being such stable geometric shapes in the body. And so it's a great way to engage the muscles using resistance training. We're doing preventative work, if you will, medicine for weightlifting, fall prevention, all of these things that we're doing below the clavicle, we really need to be doing above the clavicle. In our airway, particularly, is what I'm getting at. In the oral cavity, strengthening the tongue so we don't snore, because snoring puts us at risk for the sequelae of obstructive sleep apnea. dysphagia, and then aspiration risk. And that's where I did not want to end up. And then the whole other health sequelae that can come: hypertension, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, obesity, poor sleep. You're in a chronic sympathetic state and you never get that restful healing and repair, rest and digest sleep in the parasympathetic mode that we go into when we sleep at night. I know it's long explanation. It needs to be talked about more because the world is becoming chronic mouth breathers. 60% of the population, part-time or full-time, is breathing through the mouth. And we want to breathe through the nose for all the wonderful health benefits. And we'll talk more about that.
I think it's really necessary to go into that detail. And one thing that I noticed, because we would be on car trips, and I did not put two and two together until you and I had talked last time. So we'd be on car trips and maybe I'd fall asleep and I would wake up embarrassed because my mouth was open. And that's not really an attractive look.
I was
And
there too.
so I had fallen asleep sitting up, and I woke up and my mouth was not open, but I didn't put two and two together. But I had started doing these exercises. That was super exciting to me to realize that was a muscle weakness that had caused that to happen. When you and I had talked before, you were talking about how, sometimes when saliva will kind of drip out the side of the mouth and things like that, but that can be from a muscle weakness. And all of these things, like the snoring and the sleep apnea and things like that, that can be restored by strengthening the muscles, has just blown me away. But it makes so much sense,
Yes.
as I know, from being in nutrition and wellness, what nutrients do for us, what strengthening every area of our body does for us, and the connection.
It's so true. And like I said, when we talk about fitness, right? When we talk about fitness, let's get in shape. We're always referring to below the clavicle. And so my whole platform and creating the tools and bringing them to market, when we think of fitness, I really think we want to change our viewpoint and think of fitness as head to toe. Check in with ourselves. How are we breathing? How are we breathing when we exercise? Are we able to sleep the entire night with a closed mouth position? And what I'm seeing exploding is mouth tape. This lip tape, the mouth tape, because people are using that as a crutch, serves the purpose of trying for them to keep their mouth closed so they can breathe through the nose, right? We want to breathe through the nose. Why do we care so much about breathing through the nose? Because of all the great benefits it has to our health. Filters air, warms the air, humidifies the air, and probably most importantly, it releases nitric oxide. When you're breathing through the mouth, you're shallow breathing. You're only engaging the upper part of the lungs, and you're engaging these nasty little muscles, I call them, the scalenes. And the scalenes are what give us that short neck, forward head tilt that none of us want. And so you really want to think about what you're doing, right? First is education awareness. Then I would like to see people exercising every day, their head and neck region. I went to the gym this morning, and on the car ride too, I was doing my exercises. I was using my original triangle tool and I was strengthening my lips. I was in the cheek, I was doing the cheek suck and the blow to build resistance of these muscles so they stay nice and strong and toned. So I can maintain a healthy head and neck region and maintain my nasal breathing, which I'm at risk for reverting back to mouth breathing because of my chronic allergies. Because I keep my nasal saline flush here. It's the way I live. It's the way my anatomy is. Also from retraction orthodontics in the late 70s, which that's another issue about small palates. Small palate, small airway. Large, broad, wide palate, forward facial growth, great airway, strong airway. So for our little ones, our little kiddos, this is really an issue for them as well, because as the craniofacial bones are growing, you want the jaws to grow wide, broad, as much as they can to their full genetic potential. And that palate is key. Palate is totally related to your airway. Like I said, dealing with cleft lip, cleft palate, and watching the mouth breathing health sequelae that takes a toll on your child. Family members on CPAP with obstructive sleep apnea. No one talked to them. And I find this over and over fascinating. No one has talked to them about doing some muscle exercise. oropharyngeal strengthening of the tongue, of the oropharynx, which is voluntary skeletal muscle. No different than your bicep, your quadricep, and your gluteal muscle. It's just the anatomy up here is a little quirky to work with. And when we do these exercises, we can look a little funny. Created my wellness community. We do live Zooms together. It's a safe space for people like-minded who want to get healthy head to toe. And we laugh a lot because we are doing funny faces. You have to stick your tongue out and you have to move your tongue in all these different odd directions and suck your cheeks in and blow your cheeks out and make fish lips and do these types of things. But in order to engage the muscles fully, these are the types of movements that you really want to engage and do. You know, all these muscles, it brings them back working in harmony. So if you have some TMJ issues, doing these movements are also going to be so wonderful for that. I used to have a little bit here on this side. It wasn't debilitating by any means, but I have none. And it's from doing full range of motion, mobility of the jaw, of the joint, the temporomandibular joint, and getting these muscles back. The side effect is you get some lifting effect. And who doesn't want that? And help kind of combat some of that aging process of the, you know, the gravity that takes its toll, but you've got to do the work. I'm having a ball doing it. I love talking about this topic. I love it when I see people progress, when I've Zoomed with people from where they were to where they are now.
Well, as you were talking about, being a little awkward and funny, with the moves.
Yeah.
But so is having to wear that mask at night if you have COPD,
Yes.
sleep apnea,
Yes.
or your mouth flinging open when you're sleeping, sitting up. So that's just, I'd rather someone watch me do the exercises. So
I know.
will you show us the 3 moves that you do in your car?
So when I'm driving, I try to think about what can I do hands-free. And so I can take my simple little easy to use safe triangle and I can tuck it up underneath the upper lip and then the apex below the lower lip. And I'll say, oh, so it's like a plank. So you know how you hold a plank in the gym? You hold real still. So you say, oh, and you clamp. It's like a grip of the lips over the tool and you're building strength against resistance. Or you can do your repetitions, either one. So you can say, oh, for, isometric or your repetitions for isotonic resistance training. And then I'll slip it into the cheek area and I'll do my tongue punch and I'm strengthening my tongue. And then I can blow some air through the tool, through the hole, because we take advantage of the hole. Hole is really key for using that to strengthen the tongue. And then I can suck in the cheek against resistance of the tool. Then I can take my tongue, I'll swing it around to the other side and do it over here. And I can manipulate the tool. And then I'll also do what I call the reverse plank, where I'll hold the jaw very wide open. So I can manipulate this tool in all different kinds of manners and engage all of these hard to reach muscles. Yeah, so this is what I was doing this morning. So just simple little moves like this.
What are you doing there? Okay.
I love this for a multitude of reasons right here, Kimberly, this move. And I call it the tongue reverse plank with a twist. This is super advanced too. Also, when you first start, it's going to flop out. Don't sweat it. Who's a pro when you first walk into the gym, right? When you go to the weight room, it's the same thing. There is definitely a learning curve. That's why I love to do the live Zooms and I'm building the coursework out as well. So you can learn how to fully maximize and utilize the tools and get the maximum benefits from it. So this one is one of my favorites because number one, you're opening the temporomandibular joint very wide. So you get that great range of motion, analogous to shoulder rotation, right? You want the full range of motion of your shoulder, full range of motion of your hips, full range of motion of your jaw, the temporomandibular joint, full range of motion of your neck. Number one, nice wide jaw. So you can get 3, if not 4 fingers into the mouth, right? We don't want jaws that don't open real wide. So number one, you get that. Number 2, floor of the mouth. This is your double chin exercise. Those of us But we're going to want to fight the double chin, right? It's inevitable. We're going to fight it. This is your double chin because it engages the floor of the mouth muscles. And this is why the design is so complementary. Apex base, apex base. We use it and manipulate and take advantage of it all through the mouth. I hold it there, then I have the tongue. So now you're strengthening the tongue. You're building coordination, mobility, strength of the tongue, and you're getting the back of the tongue up on the soft palate. Boom. So you can use the vocal sounds as well if you want to add in the sound K for kick, like you're kicking a ball, or G for Gary. The K sound and the G sound for Gary help get that posterior third of the tongue up there against that soft palate. You'll see a lot of these vocal sounds too, Kimberly, with our speech and language pathologists who do a magnificent job with dysphagia, speech, chewing, all these different issues that can plague patients post-stroke, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis. I just heard from a patient with multiple sclerosis how the tool is helping her, and I am thrilled for her. She said, Katie, I had these issues with my mouth, and these tools are helping, and I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled with her. And I had another woman contact me too, Kimberly. I think I might have mentioned to you her waking up, choking on her saliva in the middle of the night. And it was very scary and stressful for her. Did the tongue exercises. Within a month, she no longer has those issues. So I'm so thrilled. But this is exactly why I decided to bring them to market, because these are the issues that I see in the hospital where I personally didn't want to end up. This is the tongue reverse plank. And like I said, people, when they start, will flop. So you put a towel in your lap, or a towel, you're at your desk or wherever you are in front of a mirror. And I always say to people, first practice in the mirror. So you learn your good form. Shoulders are down. We never squint our eyes, and you never lift the forehead when you're doing the exercises. So just like the gym, good posture, right? Is training us for good posture, which is what we want. We want good posture in the neck, tongue up, lightly suction to the palate, breathing through our nose, straight back. And these are the good habits we want to form in ourselves and our children so they can live a better life. And this is all part of being good habits and living with good health. Yep. And I love that. And I tell people when they really master it, and I've seen people master this. Burn, right? Burn. And that's why, Kimberly, I do the Zooms so we can get good form and really maximize get the benefits, the full benefits out of using the tools. So many great moves that we can do for this.
Dr. Kennedy and I already did some routines. In a separate video, I'll put that out so that they can follow those as well. Mm-hmm. But I will put all of her information in the description so you know where to find her. I also became an affiliate, so I am now an affiliate for the Beauty Balloon. So if you would like to order your own, and I encourage you to do so, you can just click my link and order yours today. You will not be sorry. And I'm just going to share my story because I have so many tools, and it took me a while because I was like, it's just one more tool that's going to be there, and you got to figure out how to use it. This is the one tool that is so worth it. Go ahead and get it. You're not going to be sorry. And I love that you have all of these Zooms that you can get on and learn how to use it, but also encouragement. And it's just like when you go to an aerobic class, there's camaraderie, and it makes you do it. It's accountability, and you will not be sorry. And I have definitely noticed those differences. There are things that help with anti-aging a little. There is no cream that is going to do for you what this training is going to do for you. So these are the types of things that make the biggest difference in facial structure and anti-aging. What I've noticed for me is when I'm looking in the mirror, and unfortunately I edit my own videos, and so I see myself a lot, which I don't want to, but it's life.
It's part of your job.
But I'm not as critical because I'm not seeing the things that I used to see. My makeup is going on better because when you have SAG and you have that issue, you're trying to correct it and it's taking longer with your makeup. I'm not going to look 25. It's just not going to happen.
Of course.
And that's fine. I don't want to. You know, I don't.
Right. It's not plastic surgery. Exactly. Right.
But
we'll take lift.
Refreshing
Yep.
Lift. I don't do Botox. I don't do fillers. I never have. And it's just, everybody's got their own way of they want
Sure.
to handle things. I'll take this, and it's definitely doing what I need to happen for me to be happy with what I'm seeing when I'm looking in the mirror.
I can see it, Kimberly. I see it in your mid face. I see more definition already in your cheek. All of this in here, and I see this. This is where I think people you really will see it first. And you'll see in your photographs too. And you'll start to see your teeth. You can actually see your teeth when you smile. And the reason is because you're tightening up your orbicularis up here. So remember, when we age, especially if you have the open mouth position like I was, the upper lip will lengthen and flatten because lower lip needs to touch upper lip. Lower lip supports upper lip. So you want them closed. That's one of the aesthetic reasons, not to mention the tremendous health reasons, which I could talk about for another 5 hours. Jawline, you'll start to see more jawline come back in. Like I said, more definition in the cheeks. Your eyes will look better. You'll have less dark circles. You're going to sleep better and feel better. This is about shaping with muscle. This is about stimulating your bone in your jaws because we know we have bone loss, particularly here with the area that wants to be the jowls and the medial orbital sockets. So we have the bone loss, right? We have the shrinking bone. So let's stimulate the bone by doing these types of exercises. And our teeth, I said, one of my goals, Kimberly, I want to die with all my organs and I want to die with my natural teeth.
That's right.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? Because the
Yes.
minute you lose a tooth or your tooth gets loose,
Things
you know,
change.
things change. That's
Yes.
yes. I mean, you lose the bone like that. That's why if anybody loses a tooth, get a replacement in as fast as you can because
Yes.
that bone will remodel and you'll lose it. All great reasons. So, like I said, there's at least 50 different moves. There's no way we can cover even a fraction of it on this call, but I want people to get excited about this. I want them to join us. It's fun. It's a global community. We have people from Canada, Germany, the United Kingdom, France joining the call. So it's really a lot of fun.
Like I said, I will put all of her information in the description below so that you can know where to find all these things that you can join in. There's going to be more to come. And the exciting thing is I haven't arrived. And so it's just going to get better.
It's going to get better. That's exactly right. I feel like even with me, how long kind of I've been doing it, I still feel like I am continuing to progress.
Well, we
So
know healthy circulation, healthy tissue, healthy,
yes.
strong muscle will make a difference and it will show.
And the double bonus, it's great for your gums, for your oral microbiome.
Very,
It's
yeah, I
just
didn't
like
know about that
it's
part.
it's a gum massage because you're bringing in blood supply to your gums.
And nobody thinks about that.
Nobody thinks about that. Exactly. Plaque. You can even, as you're moving it, if it comes, rubs along the teeth on that gum line, you're able to move a little bit of plaque. It's like a gum massage too. This is the double bonus.
You need to go ahead and order yours. And like I
Yes.
said, we have that video and I'm going to edit that and I'll put that out there so that you can have something that you just jump on, one more thing because you have a lot. You've done a really good job with Instagram. So go follow her on Instagram. I also want to ask that you'll do the same for me. I just hit 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. Head on over to Instagram and there's a lot of different things over there as well. Well, if you guys have more questions, put them in the comments below and I get on here and answer everyone. And if I don't know the answer, I will get in touch with Dr. Kennedy so that she can answer those questions as well because we're here for you. And that's one thing that I am trying to create with my YouTube is a community where we can communicate and get the answers that we need and, just help each other out. That's why we're here. So
That's exactly right. That's quality of life is what we're all
that's
striving for.
exactly right. Right.
Right. It's
All
the
of
best
those
quality of life.
different things that we plug in for optimal health. And this is one of them. That's why it totally aligns with my channel. And I'm really excited about it. So I'm grateful that I got to be a part of this. So thank you so much for being here. I want to thank all of you for tuning in and spending time on my channel. And just like I said, I just reached 6,000. This is really big for me and this is where I want to be. This is what I want my future to be. And it all depends on you. So share this with people that you know need to hear it. Please comment, like, subscribe. And again, I just appreciate every single one of you and just forming that community. So you guys have a great day and there will be a lot more to come.